mystery and horror, the air itself is filled with monsters.
Children of the night, what music they make. He's alive! He's alive!
Well, hello, all you monster fiends, and thank you for joining us for another deep dive, factoid-filled episode exploring Hollywood's most famous monsters. I am your mistress of ceremonies, Sam, and I'm joined, as always, by Dan from Bleeding Marvelous. Say hello, Dan.
It's hot as Satan's butthole here. Hot. Hot. That's not a quote from the film. That's just a fact. Hiya!
Hiya! You're talking truths today.
Spitting the facts. That's what you'd say in it.
Spitting the truth.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I'm so down with you.
Yeah. I've had to buy hair oil to keep this under control. Because it just poofs out. I poof.
Why do you think I look like a dishevelled hedge witch today? Because it's just like, there's no point.
That was such
There's
an
no
obnoxious laugh. You don't.
This is good lighting, darling. I'm actually I look the colour of the blob from
your lighting is starting to get better as we are getting on because you were really bright earlier.
It's darkened. The sun's sort of disappeared now, so it's like it's going to look really weird later, I think, because I've purposefully not put all the lights on in here so I don't bake to death.
Oh, very shortly you'll start to see the true light in here, but at the moment I'm just really pale, thanks to the sun. Why?
She's a Victorian ghost. She's that pale.
I really am. The red lipstick doesn't help either. Hi everyone.
Tuberculosis. Consumption.
That's it. I've seen Tombstone. Hi everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Monsters Up North podcast. Hope you enjoyed last week.
There's only two of us here this week. Sorry.
They are not regulars, but no, thank you everyone who watched, who has shared, who's, everything. Thank you. We'll talk about the Kickstarter at the end of the episode, but because today we're actually doing what we were meant to do last week.
Correct.
We're doing Repo, the genetic opera.
Correct.
Not the generic opera.
No.
So I will get the disclaimer out the way with, and then we will crack on open whatever this is. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on our socials, or you can join us in the comments section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So, let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
See, come here. It's a secret. Don't be a dick, right?
What she said.
Okay, I'm glad we cleared that up.
All clear.
Yeah, good.
All clear, Governor. Oh, I said I would stop doing that. I'm sorry.
She's a Cockney 50s bin man.
She's something. So, Repo the genetic... Have I said it right? Did I say it right? Repo the Genetic Opera is the 2008 gothic rock musical film directed by Darren Lynn Bousman and based on the 2002 stage musical of the same name, written and composed by Darren Smith and Terence Zudnik. I'm going with that. Directed by Darren Lynn Bousman and based... No, I'm doing the same... That's why it looks so long. I've wrote the same thing twice. It stars Alexa Vega, Anthony Stewart Head, Sarah Brightman, Paris Hilton, Nikov Orgi, Zydrate... No, my God.
Deep breath. Start again.
I don't even know if that's right. And the legends, that is Bill Moseley and the late, great Paul Sorvino. Assassin. Murder. Monster. This is not your parents' opera, as Monsters Up North brings you Repo, the genetic opera.
I don't know whose opera it is. I've got to be honest. And I know they said there was one quote when they were asked, "Who do you think this opera belongs to?" And they went, "Goths." Well, yes and no. I
Shit.
mean, I would say I have always had a bit of a soft spot for this film.
Mm.
When anyone's ever brought it up, I've always been like, yeah, no, I remember it's great. I may have opinions that have changed on that. Having to have watched it twice because obviously we watched it thinking we were going to be doing this last week and then
Things
fantastic
happened.
things happened, so we couldn't. And then having to watch it for a second time, I feel slightly violated, but not in a good way.
Oh, I feel something. I, I watched it twice because I couldn't remember what happened at the end. So I was like, oh, I can't just skip to the end. I gotta watch it. This was my first ever view. Now, this is a movie that anytime it is being brought up, it's always, oh, you've got to see this. You're gonna love it. You've got to see this. And I was like, yeah, okay, okay. So when Dan mentioned let's do it, I was like, yeah, go on, because I've had it recommended so many times before. It was. I said this to Dan before we came on. It's very much of the time era.
Yeah,
It's so it's so much of the time era. I mean, this movie was actually done by Twisted Productions. Is it Twisted
yeah,
Productions?
which was
The
Saw. Yeah,
which is they only ever distributed Saw movies. And this.
that's because of Darren Lynn Bousman though, because he did the original. Well, he worked on Saw, so
Hmm.
that's the connection that they have with
Yeah,
Twisted Pictures. So they obviously trusted Darren enough to be able to think that he could do something fantastical, which he did.
you did. You did, in a way,
I'm
you
not
did.
knocking this, but I think the biggest issue for me with this movie is that there was not enough transition between a musical and
Hmm.
making it for a movie.
Yeah,
Somewhere in the middle, whoever developed it, tried to develop it from a stage show musical to a movie, didn't know how to,
no.
or didn't know, because when you watch the film, it is exactly like you would sit there in a theater and watch a show.
Yeah,
The way that every song interlinks to another song, and you can see the set changes. Everything just seems to be based around the fact that it was that, and they didn't know how to adapt it
yeah.
to a movie. I don't know, but that's kind
I
of,
understand what you mean since I've seen it now, but this
yeah.
is a CGI wet dream. This is one sound studio for the entirety of the movie.
Mhm.
So one sound stage changed for every scene. That's it. And everything else is computerized digital for 2008.
I mean, I do love the hologram. There's something about this world that is very strange.
But yeah, it's incredibly intriguing. I will give it
Yeah.
that.
Like, I do believe that this could be a future.
Yeah.
The
Um,
the premise of like literally leasing organs so
yeah.
you can continue to live. I
The,
mean, ugh,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
the main thing of this movie is that in the distant future, which I can't remember when it was actually, it was 2056. An epidemic of organ failures has taken the world. And one corporation, which would fucking happen, one corporation has managed to capitalize on that. And they will give you a whole new body, whole new organs for a price. And if you can't pay that price, they will loan you it. But if you don't pay your loan payments, they're coming after you.
The Repo Man.
The repo man will get you and basically take back what is theirs. On the other side, there is so that's the corporation side. Then you've got the poorer side, and you've got genuine grave robbers who are going into people's graves who have had these conditions done to them because there is a drug that they get high off.
Zydrate comes in a little glass vial, a little glass vial, a little
A
glass
little glass
vial.
vial. I know what that means now. I get that reference.
So yeah, they extract it from the dead bodies, and apparently it's different to the
Yeah,
stuff that they get when they're
it's
actually
pure.
Yeah, it's like there's a process with the dead body that is different to if they were to have it when they were having the operation.
Yeah, it's
So
the purest. Um, there was one person in particular who needed this film to get off the ground. Needed it so much that she put in her own money to get this movie off the ground, and that was Paris Hilton. And to
yeah,
say Paris Hilton is not the worst thing about this film, says everything.
this woman, for as much as people give her shit, she was praised by the guys that she worked with for this. They all said she loaned clothes, like her
Every
wardrobe.
all the wardrobe is hers. Female wardrobe is hers.
She went out of her way to every recording she did. She didn't muck about. She was proper professional. She came
Hmm.
in, all of her singing. What singing? She came in and she did, and
But she
she
did
did
it
all of
herself though.
yeah, and all of the acting she did. She didn't mind looking like a fool because I think that this was part and parcel of the fact that she was coming off the back of the sex tape scandal that she'd had,
Yeah.
and it was one of these things where a PR nightmare for her was taking place. So she needed something to either focus on or give the public
Distract.
something else
Yeah.
to look at, like look over there moment, So so she didn't come out of this well in one way because she won a golden raspberry.
Oh no, she
So
really isn't the worst thing in this. I quite enjoyed her because I just thought, oh my God, you're being you. And it's so nice. I don't know if anyone else watched the Paris Hilton documentary that came out about a couple of years ago. I actually did. There's two sides to that girl.
yeah.
There is the Paris Hilton that she wants you to see, and
Hmm.
then there's the Paris Hilton that she doesn't want you to see. And that Paris Hilton is so fucking interesting. She doesn't talk in that high voice. She's got quite a low register actually. She's just very real and she's fully aware of who she is. Like there's no airs and grace about her. She knows she comes from money. She
Yeah.
knows where her stature is. Um, there was that documentary. I know it was a lot to do with what happened to her as a kid, which I could, for me, I just can't understand how she could get like be okay with her parents after that, because clearly it's traumatized her, and they put her in that position. I don't get it, but I don't mind Paris Hilton. Out of all the reality TV stars, she's one of them who I always thought she tries. She really does try.
Well, she won the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actress at the 29th Golden Raspberry Awards. However, three of the songs, including Zydrate Anatomy, which is a Little Glass Vial song, they were shortlisted for the Academy Award for Best Original Song. I mean, that's a hell of a.
That's
They were not nominated, but they were shortlisted. So if you think about the fact that this was an $8 million budget movie, that was it.
mm,
For a 2008 film and the amount of CGI that went into it, the budget itself to pay the actors must have been quite minuscule considering the CGI, the way the CGI was in this, because all the holographic projections and that side of stuff, the CGI side of stuff must have been costly. However, Terence Zidick, and I'm sorry if I've pronounced his surname wrong, but Terence, who plays the grave robber, is also the guy who co-wrote it uh,
yeah,
for the stage. There we go. There's the word.
yeah.
Um, and he is actually an illustrator by trade. That's what he learned to do.
Oh, okay.
So all the illustrations you see, where it's all comic strippy, is all Terence's work, and I love that.
I love that.
He also has done loads of artwork like that you see in the background for things like Bones and Bedazzled the movie. He's done like when you see artwork in books and like just random
Oh,
stuff. So he's an illustrator by trade, but after 2012 he sort of disappeared for a bit off like not working. Well, according to IMDb anyway. But then he's done the odd he did do the sequels, I want to call them, but they're not sequels. The Devil's Carnival and The Devil's Carnival Hallelujah. They were two kind of sequels, but parts of it. Devil's Carnival's a weird one. It's really weird, really weird.
he's the comic book strips that run through this movie was I was like, oh, you're appealing to my comic booking-ish. Can't even know if that's a word. Um, I really and I like that. I like the explanation. I can't even talk. I like the explanation of everything through them comic strips. It
I
made it a
think
lot easier.
yeah, I think as well, it's a cheap way of doing your exposition, isn't it?
That's what the word I was trying to get out.
Yeah, it's a cheap way because they're not having to film. They're
Yeah,
just literally having to draw and
yeah.
boom bang, blah, 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 it's up and done, isn't it? So
Yeah, it's easy peasy. Anthony Stewart Head plays Nathan Wallace, who is Repo Man. He was picked after a certain actor who was originally yeah, who was originally cast for this movie.
I do beg your
However,
pardon. I do beg your pardon.
I know I wrote this in bold so I didn't forget it because I couldn't I can't get my head around it. So
Yeah.
yeah, there was an original actor who was actually already picked for Nathan before Anthony Stewart Head came into the picture, but couldn't do that. He had to drop out because he got his cancer diagnosis at the same time. The actor was Patrick Swayze. The Swayze.
She's like the wind through my trees.
She is now because he's gone. Wow, who said that? We love the Sways in this house. Love the Sways. Um, yeah, Patrick Swayze was meant to play Nathan Wallace, which when you watch Anthony Stewart Head play this, you can't think to yourself, how the fuck was Patrick Swayze meant to do that?
He
That
wasn't the only bad guy I really know him playing was in Donnie Darko, really. I don't really recall him
I
being.
can't really
I think
remember that film.
Point Break, he was a bad guy, but he
Oh, he
liked
was so
him,
lovable.
and that's the thing. So in Donnie Darko, I think he played the predator neighbor that was like a weird predator dude.
Surprisingly, the last two films you've just mentioned, I have actually seen. I just really can't remember Donnie Darko very well.
It's a weird one, Donnie Darko. It is a very strange film. But yeah, he's yeah, no, I think with Anthony's back catalogue of stage performance in general, he was a good choice.
Well,
100% was a good choice for this because
100.
him and Sarah Brightman voice wise and Paul obviously, but Paul's a different style. The three of those guys vocally carried this movie.
Oh, 100%. Well, Anthony Stewart Head was chosen on the back of what the episode he did for Buffy. And they were like, oh shit, he can sing. We all knew he could sing because we know that he's been doing stage work for so many years before he and after doing Buffy and during Buffy. The first time I ever went to see Rocky Horror, I should never have been there, by the way. I was way too young for this. But I've known Rocky Horror. It's been in my life since I was, oh God, since I can ever remember it. Like, there's not a point where I go, oh, that's when I watched it because it's just always been there. And the first time I ever went to see the stage show, and I've seen many, many afterwards, he was Frankenfurter.
He's showing off.
I can't remember any of it though. Generally can't remember any of it. And there's a reason. I was very young. Again, shouldn't have been there. Um, but yeah, so he gets chosen on the back of Buffy, and Dan is 100% right. Vocally, Sarah Brightman, Anthony Stewart Head, and what's the other guy called?
Paul Savino.
Oh my gosh, okay, Paul Savino. I love this man. I love this man with every fibre of my being. And not just because he's a great actor, because of the person he is. He's just, oh, he is the father of, oh gosh, I can never say it because her surname's different, isn't it? She is Mira Savaro.
I say Savino, but I mean I could be completely
Yeah. See, I always thought
Savino.
it was,
Yeah, Savino, Mira Savino.
oh, I've always said it so fast, I've probably just been saying it
I could
wrong for
be wrong.
ages.
That's the thing. I
Well,
don't ever claim to be right with anything that comes
she's
out of my mouth.
she's Romy
Yeah,
in
Romy and
Romy
Michelle.
Michelle's High, and that is one of mine and my sisters. Me and my sister have our favorite films together. That's one of them. Death Becomes Her is another one. And I love her. But I was reading about him today because not today. It was when I wrote the notes. I was like, when did he die? I can't. It was recent, so I went and had a look, and then I ended up trolling through his Wikipedia page and came across what he said about um, when he found out that his daughter was blacklisted because she knocked his advances.
Yeah, like any
Good,
sane woman would, but
yeah,
obviously not knocking those that didn't know that there was an option, because
because it's such a hard one to, especially for me as a woman, and I don't know, it's a hard conversation to have because you can see both sides. But Mira was so, you know, she knew exactly what was right, what was wrong, and she told him to go fuck himself. He completely had her blacklisted. Like she was on the up and up
yeah,
when all
Mimic
this
was an
happened.
awful film, but she was still.
She was getting top billing for a lot of shit, and then all of a sudden it just goes. And he was like, if I knew, he wouldn't even be getting to court. And I genuinely believe he would have killed him.
Mm.
I genuinely believed he would have killed him. When she came back, I think when all this started to come out, she started to come back out again and started to get work again. And she was in an academy, like she was in an award ceremony, and she was like thanking people for being supportive of her, and he is just in the front, like bawling his eyes out. Oh, he's just fantastic, and oh my God, the singing, his voice.
But
Now
do you know he can sing as well?
I did, and I only know that because he's in Romeo and Juliet, and he sings in that. And then I obviously looked at his Wikipedia page. He's an opera singer,
Well, he got into opera, and this is a weird thing about Paul. He's an Italian, he's an American Italian. So he's the son of Italian immigrants to America, and he was the firstborn American son from Italian immigrants. Now, he had severe asthma growing up to the
right?
point of where he couldn't breathe. He was a one of those kids that just couldn't even walk down the street without getting out of breath.
Oh,
So he learned breathing exercises, and somebody said to him, maybe have you tried singing, because it can help you with your diaphragm, help you
hmm.
take your breaths, and sometimes they do say with people who have stutters and speech impediments and any kind of things like that, sometimes it can help you because you can concentrate on your breathing, you can concentrate on stuff like that. So he went back to his mum and dad and was like, well, they've said, mum, dad, that I should try singing. And his dad was like, opera only. That's it. You're not doing none of this pop
Wow,
stuff. Opera only. If you're going to learn to sing, you're going to sing it properly. Italian, obviously. So,
obviously.
so that's how he formed his voice. And then he became a huge advocate for asthma charities. He started his own asthma charity. He worked in it with so much passion with regards to trying to help children navigate life with horrific asthma. He won awards.
Oh,
He won a massive award, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. I'm just reading it now. And no, I can't do that. A huge ceremony in Rome, um, which was some sort of lifetime achievement for charity work and all sorts for famous Italian immigrants, all this sort of stuff. And it's given to Italian immigrants by the Italian government, basically. So they flew him over, had him there. They had him sing a massive aria with Andrea Botticelli.
yeah,
Botticelli, yeah,
I can say
Botticelli.
that name.
Bocelli.
Bocelli. Yeah, I only can say it because I have to remember it when me dad dies. It's one of his funeral songs. It's grim as fuck, but okay.
But yeah, they had him sing with him a duet, and
Oh,
did a big aria type thing. Probably not the right word, but they did a big song, and
I think you're
yeah,
right the first time. Big song.
they did a big song, and it became really like this most beautiful thing. And if you haven't seen Repo, but you're still listening along, go Google Paul singing opera instead. I'm not saying don't go watch this film. I'm just saying his operatic voice is absolutely stunning. On
It's
the other hand, you've then
beautiful.
got you've gone Anthony, his voice, Anthony, I don't know what we call him. His voice is rock. He's a rock opera.
Yeah.
He's a he can sing very nice songs, but
Hmm.
he's got that,
You can hold a tune.
yeah, he's got that growl to him. And then obviously we can't go without saying about Sarah Brightman.
The soprano that she is. Oh
Mm.
my God, that woman. Before we talk about Sarah, I just want to say, as a fellow asthmatic, thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Sarah Brightman. Dan failed to mention that Sarah Brightman was in this movie. So I got the shock of my life when I find out that she's Blind Meg or Blind Mag.
Mag.
Um, oh yeah, Sarah is oh, the woman is one, she's fucking beautiful. Love the fact of what they did to her eyes because Sarah is very famous for having these very piercing blue eyes.
Mm.
And the fact that they did the whole blind thing and she got the eyes and oh, it just looked absolutely mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Oh, I
She
loved it.
in this, I think it was very different for her because obviously when you look at her back catalogue, you've got Phantom of the Opera, you've got she's obviously she was famously married to Andrew Lloyd Webber, as we all well know. But that's no longer a thing, and they went their separate ways, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
And she probably has played every heroine in nearly every musical that I can think of. I don't think she ever did Cats.
No, she never did Cats. That's Elaine Page's
Yeah, no, thank God
thing.
for Small Mercies.
I say Elaine Page's, it's just in the UK, if we were basing it in the UK, like
Yeah,
Broadway, it would be Elaine Page's thing.
yeah. But yeah, Sarah was when I was learning to sing, living in London, we were encouraged to be pushed into the realms of the West End theatre because that was the natural place to gravitate to.
Hmm.
So we were all taught how to like I went to an opera singing teacher and he taught me basically where to put my tongue in my mouth when I'm singing to get the right pronunciation of things. And he used to be in Pickwick. He was the lead character in Pickwick. I couldn't
Oh,
tell you his name, but now this sounds really bad when you think about it. He had Victoria Beckham as one of his students, before she was in the Spice Girls. Which sounds stupid because that really sounds bad, but he was teaching her how to enunciate when she sung. It was more so that than like teaching her to sing. But he we were gravitated towards being pushed into musicals. Naturally, that was the decision they went with
well,
kids, like
you
from
down
when I lived.
south.
Yeah,
It's
it's just a
you've got
natural
so
thing.
many options.
And so we were all taught musical numbers. We were all taught how to audition. I've auditioned for We Will Rock You for the West End show. I've done Grease. I've auditioned for all those shows. I was just not in a school, so I didn't have that leg up that everybody else had. But opera was where I was originally taught to sing. So I used to be able to sing the flower duet. I,
Oof.
I am 2 registers down now. That's not happening.
Oof.
I'm no longer a soprano. I'm more of an alto, low, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I comes with age. It happens. So I appreciate Sarah was always somebody that when I was learning to sing musical numbers and we had the big ones, Sarah was like the Phantom of the Opera. Like when we talked about it before, didn't we? Because I know we've reviewed, obviously, we did the musical. I might have looked at the musical numbers when we talked about the Phantom episode. I feel like I watched a few of the musical
You
ones from.
did because you watched the Patrick Wilson one. You did, and
Yes,
Jared Butler. Yes, you did.
yes. I thought, yeah, I remembered I'd done that now. And
You didn't need to.
no, I didn't. I don't know why I put myself through that. I mean, she could sing, the girl that played.
It's her from Shameless. She's in the American Shameless. She played Fiona, which blew my fucking mind when I see her as Fiona. I'm like, hang on a minute, you can actually sing. Fuck.
She's got a beautiful voice, don't get me
Mm.
wrong, but Sarah will always play that
Always,
part. The voice
always be
is
Christine.
synonymous with Sarah singing the Phantom of the Opera. But however, you see people now, I think there's the lead singer from Ginger, she does a version as well, or Nightwish. It's one of the two. I think it might be Nightwish. She does a version, a rock opera version of
Yeah,
Phantom of the Opera.
it's on one of my play. I love Nightwish.
Yeah, I think
I've
it's
been
Nightwish, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
I've been to see them so many times.
she
But
does
I've
an
only
absolutely
I've
stunning version.
never seen her though. I've only ever seen Tarja play her.
Right.
So you can tell how long ago that was. So yeah, I've heard her do it. Now Tarja was always good. Her range is so good. I think I'm saying her name right, and if I'm not, I apologize. Her range was so good, but she cannot belt out like what this new singer can.
Yeah.
She is phenomenal. Ghost Love Score is one of my favorite Nightwish songs, and Tasha, she always did it so like there was never any oomph there, and it was such a powerful song, and especially the end. It's like it gives us chills thinking about the end of this song because it's such a long one and it like has its peaks and its lows and it has this beautiful like orchestra bit in the middle and then the end bit and my god, this new singer, she makes me cry when I hear it. It's so good. Um,
Well, we go back
I
to our passion for music again, which
yeah,
we did talk about quite a lot last week.
we
How
did.
we went to an unintended extreme here from last week's conversation with Jimmy and Kira about like how music plays such a big part in a
Yeah.
movie. We went from it being like a complimentary thing to it being the only
The
thing in the
only thing, well, as Sarah has always been such I've always known her. So growing up, I have been surrounded by the arts, and me and Michaela always used to think we were weird, but we actually just think we were brought up right. Um, we used to watch a lot of things. I don't know if you can ever remember. Can you remember Opera Vox?
vaguely.
It was animated opera. So it was like, say for example, Carmen, and it was Carmen but done in it was like brushstrokes. And that's what the whole thing was. It played out in like art. It was so good. Like, what do you call it? What's Queen of the Night from? Um, the Barbara Seville. That done in this very oh god, art deco style art, like design work. It was just unreal, and we used to watch stuff like that. And Leslie Garrett used to
Mm.
do a variety show on a Saturday tea time. We used to watch that. So Sarah has always been like part of our lexicon growing up because
Yeah.
she sang opera, and it was opera that we kind of, it was what we would class as modern, especially Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
And I loved, I don't know if you ever saw it, Andrew Lloyd Webber's birthday concert. It's from the early
Probably.
late 90s, and you've got Sarah Brightman singing Phantom of the Opera in this gorgeous black dress. Oh my God, does that woman look absolutely beautiful? But the person singing the Phantom is Antonio Banderas.
Yes, I did. I saw that, and he actually doesn't do a horrific job.
He doesn't, but he really takes you out of it when
Mm.
you're so used to listen to the likes of Michael Crawford and Michael Ball singing
Mhm.
it that you're like, okay, that's different. I did love when he did Evita. He did What a Circus. It was just it was just especially with his accent, it went so perfectly. The only one thing that really pissed me off about that whole performance was Boyzone. Oh, so mad. They did what's the musical called where they released the song as well? No Matter. Is it No Matter?
No matter where yeah,
Yeah.
I've had to go and see Boyzone because my sister was a Boyzone stan for all of her life, and when they reunited, probably about 15 years ago or so, they did a tour, and I bought my sister tickets, and we had like 5 rows from the front in the O2, and I knew all the words, and I was so ashamed, and I sat there and I thought, do you know what? These guys have got better with age to look at. I could actually look
Yeah.
at them. But yeah, as for what that came from, I couldn't tell
Whistle
you.
Down the Wind.
Oh, of course it was.
Whistle Down the
Whistle
Wind.
down the
The
wind.
wind
That was Let Your Voices
is
Carry.
carrying.
Was
Do,
that
do, do,
that
do,
was
do,
from that, wasn't it?
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually Tina Marina sang it in that concert. But yeah, they did that song. And at the end, go on.
Yeah, Whistle Down the Wind was Hayley Mills, wasn't it? It was where she
Yeah.
found Jesus in the barn. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yep. So at the end of the whole thingy, Michael Ball, who honestly I'd pay fucking serious money just to go and see live. I have loved him forever. My sister tried to get us tickets to go and see him with Alfie, what's his face, and
Oh,
the price. Oh, she, she was like, I'd have to sell a kidney, but that means our pact would be gone and we wouldn't have one. So I was like, no, it's fine. You keep your kidney.
yeah.
Um,
Need it.
so yeah, I mean, I might need it one day, so
Mhm.
keep it. And at the end, he's doing "Love Changes Everything" from Aspects of Love. It's one of my favorite songs in the world. And then all the guests start coming down, and at the end, there's Michael Ball here, and there's Boyzone standing behind them, and Stephen Gately mouths all the words, and it really pisses me off.
Well, he dead now. It doesn't matter.
I know. Now I feel so bad.
Yeah. Love changes everything.
I love that song so much. You should see he was in the car when I'm belting it out. I can't do the
Listening
key
when
change
he
for
hits
shit.
with Dan and Sam.
Mm. I mean, it all fits.
It
It's
does.
musical. It's musical.
Because there was 58
The
songs
fuck, I couldn't write.
in this movie.
I thought,
58.
yeah, I thought of myself when I looked at the song list because I was like, oh, I'll grab the songs. So when I looked at it, and went, no, I'm not writing that down. Not a chance.
Nope.
If we
No.
want it, I'll go and find it.
There is no dialogue. There is no straight dialogue. This
No,
is
there's
what I meant at the beginning when I was saying that it wasn't translated to a movie in a traditional way, because in a movie you would expect small dialogue breaks to break up the scenes in between each song.
yeah,
Traditionally, in a
yeah,
musical, that's what happens. They just burst into song, but this, nobody talks. They all the dialogue, the back and forth dialogue, all the response and recall, all the canon, it's all there in the songs that they do to get their exposition and the
yeah.
point across. The only kind of dialogue you get is what you have to read on the comic book strips or on the signs. That's
No,
it.
that's it. That's all it is. One character, I can't believe we're getting to him at this stage. Bill Moseley.
Luigi? Was he Luigi Rotti?
It was, yeah. There was a couple of names changed from the stage show to the movie. His was one of them. And Paris Hilton.
Amber.
She is Amber Sweet. In the stage show, she is Amber something else.
Yeah.
Or she's a completely different name. Don't know why they went down the road of changing it. They just did. So yeah, Bill Moseley, can't understand for love nor money what he's doing in this film.
He
Uh,
played Angry Brother right. I will say,
he played it like
what
a cartoon character.
yeah, but I feel like that's what this movie kind of was. It was like they were hyped up versions of you were supposed to look at them and think, okay, they're all addicted to
Different.
surgery.
Yeah.
They've all got this hunger to take over the company because they want to use it and abuse it for their own nefarious wants. Amber wanted it for the constant surgery. Same with the younger brother with the face. They just wanted it for. He wanted it
Yeah.
for glory and to get new faces. Amber wanted it for the consistent like changing of her body and trying to the strive for perfection. And I feel like Luigi, when he first took his shirt off for the first time, no scars. The second
No.
time he takes his shirt off, he's got a massive, great big scar going down
Yeah.
his body. So they're showing you that they keep getting these procedures, but
Amber
the
was
only
the same.
person, yeah, but the only person who doesn't is Rotti himself.
Yeah. And he's the one who's ill.
Yes.
The brother with the face, the ending when it tells you how they all like what happened to them, and it's like, yeah, Luigi died, and Pavi ended up wearing his face for the rest of his life. I was like, I would have paid to see that.
Yeah, it's a weird old like the concept of it is really done well. I think the original name for the stage show when it was originally done was called the Necromancers
Yeah.
the Necro Merchant's Debt.
Which makes a lot of sense because Repo, I tell you what though, the design of Repo Man, I actually really liked.
Yeah.
Loved the costume design.
The beauty of this film is it did spawn the straight film. So if you're missing dialogue and you're missing more of a story, and it kind of cuts out Shilu to a degree. So if you go and
Thank God.
watch Repo Men with Forrest Whitaker and Jude Law, it is completely based off of this, completely ripped off. I don't know how much Terrence got like credit for this, but yeah, it is based on the concept of the same thing, but the repo man ends up having to have his organs repoed because he can't afford to pay for his debts. So if you do get a chance to, if you want something more story driven in the respect of dialogue mainly, go watch that. But this is basically a glimpse into the future of what could happen. And I do believe if the capitalist regime that runs somewhere at some point, I see it being on the table at some point. I mean, I'll be long gone at that point, but I do feel like I could see something that in 2008 I wouldn't have said was technically viable, but now in today's thinking, I look at it and I go,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
it's more medication and how we've seen how medication is um basically cost next to nothing to make, but is sold to the highest bidder, who is then passed on, and the cost is then handed down to the consumer, and it just reminds me so much of that, and how much that is just a fucking pain in the arse for people. Not so much us in the UK. We're very fortunate, incredibly fortunate. I'm talking more about our cousins overseas. Yeah, the design and look of Repo Man is breathtaking. I loved the. It was more like it looked more like a butcher. That's what I. That's the like a typical English butcher, with the leathers on the front and that, like that.
I liked the idea of the way the hat was like a kind of like a soldier hat, like a general, but it had the lights in the visor. So the eyes,
Almost like night.
yeah,
Was it like a night? Like a
it had like it's kind of like a flat top. So it was like like when you go the Navy guys wear them hats. It had that
yeah,
kind of style top, but then it went down to the neck so you wouldn't get filthy. But it was
yeah.
just the glasses section that had all the blue LEDs in that lit up the face, but you still couldn't tell it was him underneath.
No,
Thought that was well designed for sure.
yeah. There's a few songs in here that I did actually really enjoy. One of them, my toes would not stop curling around, and I think it was one of Anthony Stewart's Heads songs, and I was like, oh, make it stop, just make it stop. And I think it's when he's walking through the house and he's like, he's telling you
Angry.
the story. Yeah, he's telling you the story of Marnie,
Yeah, yeah,
and she's like everywhere in the hologram pictures. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, make this stop. And
Thing about
anytime Shiloh sang, make it
oh
stop.
yeah, I'm not. I will say I'm not a fan of Spy Kids girl's voice. It went through me like a chalkboard, nails on a chalkboard. It's the tone. It's not the fact that she could or couldn't sing. It was the tone of her voice is not good for me. However, I want to know how they managed to convince Joan Jett to be in the background of the solo song she did called 17 when
I knew
um
that was her.
yeah, when she's singing to her dad about, oh, I'm 17, basically go fuck yourself, I'll do what I like.
Yeah.
Joan Jett's playing the guitar in the background.
I knew that was her. I'm looking at her going, I know your face.
And I was like, what the fuck? When you're just like, she's not, the girl, Alex Varga does not have the voice for for a rock opera. She has a voice. She can
It's
hold a tune,
it's
but it's
sweet.
not right for
No.
this. And that's just my opinion. Those of you that love this and are, diehard fans, I completely understand that you love it and it's not a problem because I know she's a very beloved character. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying she was badly cast or anything. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't think she had the right voice for this part. I feel like if you're going to cast a rock opera, you get someone with a rock voice and
Yeah.
she didn't quite tick that box for me.
Well, Anthony Stewart Head didn't always play a repo man in this movie. Because in the opening of it, when you see him, it's actually Terence who's playing him.
Yeah,
I wonder, did he play him in the stage show, or was he?
he's always done Grave Robber, but he's
He's
also
always.
they've always it's like a round robin cast when they went out and they did the stage show. They all knew each other's parts and they'd all jump in and play each part at some point. Um, the thing about people don't know as well about Giles, because let's be honest, that's how everybody knows him.
Yeah.
He is a multi-award winner, and I mean multi-award winner.
Is
He
it?
was in, this is the thing, do you know as well who played Brad Majors in the Rocky Horror? And it might have been the one that you saw as well. The guy who played Brad Majors was none other than the American talk show host. Well, he's not American, he's Scottish, Craig Ferguson.
Craig Ferguson.
And when I read that, I was like, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
He released Sweet Transvestite, Anthony Head, as on record for Chrysalis Records. He then went on to play the role again in 95
Yeah.
at the Duke of York Theatre. He did it at the London Piccadilly Theatre in 90 to 91. In 2006, he did a tribute show at the Royal Court Theatre. And in 2000, he went on to do it at the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas. So he has been all over the place. The amount of awards that he has been nominated for just stage alone is insane. And the thing that people I don't know if a lot of people know this that aren't from the UK. Giles first came on our screen asking for coffee.
Yeah, he was a Maxwell House guy.
He was, yeah.
You've just unlocked a memory.
That's the thing. People from the UK, we all know Anthony Head, and he was the Maxwell House guy. He was the guy who knocked on his pretty neighbour's door and asked if she had any coffee.
Gold
And
blend.
That's where all that trope has come from now, where you get those sleazy guys. But it wasn't sleazy at the time. It was like a really like unheard of thing.
And it was like a story as well. Like, when we all waited for the next advert to come on to see will they, won't they?
Did they go on a date? Now they're married. Now they've got kids. Do you know what I mean? It was like a exceptional advert. But that's where he first got his. He did little bits and pieces, but that was the thing that really sort of put him in it's the Maxwell House guy, you know. And then it developed on from there. But he had all the stage experience prior to, well, not prior to that. He continued with his stage love for most of his career. Even now, I think he's been in Little Britain. Anthony Head played the Prime Minister, didn't he? Obviously, as well, a lot of people might know this, but both of his daughters are also actresses. One of them was in The Inbetweeners.
Yeah.
The other one, Daisy, she's done a lot of big.
I don't know Daisy.
She's done something recently. It's like a
Harlot. Don't you watch that?
She's done quite a lot of like periody stuff, or fantasy stuff. Daisy, and she's got one of those faces you look at, you go, I know her, but you can't place where you know her from.
It was the same with her sister. When she before the Inbetweeners, I went, there's something about you. Something about you. Anthony Stewart Head was in the Inbetweeners as well. He played Will's dad. He's also as recently been in Ted Lasso. Oh, he plays dickhead very well, doesn't he?
He plays Hannah Waddington's dad, doesn't he?
Husband.
Or ex-husband.
Ex-husband.
The reason I've never watched Ted Lasso. So.
Oh my god, it's so good. The reason Hannah gets the company, the football thing in the first place, the club in the first place, is because she got it in the divorce from him, and she wants it because it was his one true love. She wants to run it into the ground, and she gets this American coach to come over, who, you know, he's incredibly he's good with American football, but he's going to be terrible at English football.
Right.
It's so good. It's so funny. It's heartfelt. They're doing another series as well, because I don't think the third season went down the way how they ended it is not. Do you know when the fans go, we didn't ask for this, and they go, oh yeah, let's rewrite that wrong. They're actually doing that.
Yeah, because I know now they've finally heeded, and there was talks today for the first time today, Mindhunter season 3.
Yes.
Of it possibly happening. I think it was again, this is slightly connected because he's a Broadway star and he was in Glee. Although we don't talk about the curse of Glee. Jonathan, what's his name, that played the lead guy in Mindhunter.
He's also in Hamilton. He was part of the main cast of Hamilton.
Yeah, he's done so much. Jonathan
Groff.
Yeah, Groff.
Groff.
Yeah, because he played that horrible kid in Glee. Like, he was dating Michelle, what's the name?
Oh yeah, I know who you mean. Don't like her either.
Yeah, no one likes her.
No. We were talking about this the other day, me and Anth, about the Glee curse. Cause he sat there and he went, something came on the we were watching a Watch Mojo list, and something came on about Glee, and he went, God, do you think that's it? Do you think Glee's cursed? And I went, do you think?
Just a tad.
I said, there's a whole fucking documentary about how cursed they are.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, when that came out, I remember getting straight into it in that first season, thinking to myself, God, I wish we had something like that at our school when I was that age.
Yeah.
We didn't have Glee.
We had choir.
To our American listeners, back in the day when I was at school in the 90s, we didn't have Glee Club. No, we didn't have choir at my school. We had a performing arts kind of like club where you'd have to do a play or a musical at school, and you'd audition to get in it, and then that would be the thing that took 6 months to get to.
Oh my God, we had choirs. Like, I come from a very like a small village that had a church that people actually, when back in the day, they were used to attending shit.
No,
I was
we weren't.
I was in every choir.
We weren't God Squad orientated in any way. Our school wasn't religiously affiliated with anything. We were quite
Mine
amongst
wasn't to a
diverse.
degree.
We were nine. I started there in 91 and I left in 96. So my 5 years of high school, 6 years of high school was
Oh my
literally on a
kid.
farm. We didn't
Fucking
have.
hell.
It was. I went
Where
to a
were you
farm school,
raised?
London.
Did
Believe it or not, I literally had
you
an
go to
innocent.
Hogwarts?
Well, if you call pot-bellied pigs and chickens from Hogwarts, yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, we had tiny. I went to a tiny high school. There was 30 of us in a year, 30 to 40 of us in a year.
My
It was
God.
tiny, but in that it gave us the opportunity to be. We were very much. They 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 fostered such an attitude for the kids to be. Um, there was a lot of performing arts at our school. There was a
Mm.
lot. They fostered that and sport. They were the two things. You could be in the sports club and you could be in the performing arts club. There was no kind of divide between, what you wanted to be. That we didn't have jocks,
Oh.
goths, all that sort of shit. If you wanted to be in everything, you were in everything. And I had to stay after school clubs because I was a latchkey kid because my mum worked. So I had to stay, and so I was in every club there possibly was. And then I got into when I was 14, I got the lead role in Grease, and I was Sandy. And there's pictures of me on my Facebook of me in a big skirt that one of my teachers made, and I still love this skirt, and I wish I had it to this day. And it's a pink like 50s skirt with
Yeah.
all the underskirts on underneath, and she'd made a little poodle with the lead going around it. And to this day I am gutted I still do not own that.
Oh
I
no.
absolutely loved it. She probably kept it for herself, to be fair.
Uh, we no, I went to a big comprehensive school. We call them comprehensive high school. We call it comprehensive school. I went to keep you. Um, it was absolute torture. The police were there all the time. It was horrible. It was a terrible, horrible place. But in my primary school, we had choirs. Like, God, we had a choir in the school. We had a choir at church. And don't get us wrong, I'm not like I didn't go to a religious school. We were communities. Like it was a community thing.
Yeah.
Like my grandmother, who she was Catholic, but still went to a thingy church. Woman's baffling. I mean, she's dead now. But going back to Mindhunter, I didn't realize. I thought it was just a done and dusted. He was done. Like David Fincher was never gonna touch this whatsoever.
He wanted to, but he had his hands tied, so he backed off. They said, "Oh no, he's gone on to do other projects," and he basically stepped away because they had a vision that didn't go with his vision, and he went, "Well, you're not fucking touching it. If I'm not here, you can't
Yeah.
have it. See ya." And then they went with the narrative that he had other projects, so they were putting it on pause indefinitely, and they all got
Well,
released from their contracts this year. Well, last year, should I say?
I'm just gonna put this out there. Just stay away from BTK. Just, just
Well,
stay
that's where
away
it's
from
going,
BTK.
though. That's where it was going, wasn't it?
Why?
They had,
Why?
they did have. I think it was the Day Stalker they were starting to look at as well towards the end of Mindhunter season 2.
I can't remember it. I genuinely can't remember the the amount of people that what's his name? John Douglas spoke to. They could have done anyone. He never had a lot to do with BTK. If anything, I've read his book. I can't remember what, and I would remember because I hate Dennis Rader. The man is the fucking worst. I mean, don't get us wrong, they're all the fucking worst, but he was something else. He was a whole different level. Like John Douglas is going out there and he's creating the terms of profiling and coining terms like serial killer. Fucking BTK has to name himself.
It's because he's got an ego, and then not
He's
only he wasn't really your typical serial killer. He was in a he. I would say the BTK sits in a different realm because he wasn't consistent. He took so much time out in between. There, it was never something that was
he's
really.
no, it was he was looking for infamousy.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he got it. Um, he
I did
actually went
AT&T.
quiet. Well, he actually went quiet for some time, but then when the police were like, "Oh, they called him out on something," and that's where he slipped up because he let himself know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a maniacal, egotistical, narcissistic dickhead who went, just call me BTK. Bye, Total Kill.
Can you see him dressing up like the Repo Man though, in the way he used to dress up? Like BTK had a very specific look when he committed his real
Didn't he
one.
used to do the whisper? Didn't he used to do the? He used to talk like a little girl or something.
Yeah, because he used to wear the mask, didn't he? And then
Yeah.
sometimes he wore women's clothes, sometimes he wore lingerie.
He used to whisper, and I remember listening to the last podcast on the left, and it just sounded fucking hilarious. Like, imagine if you could hear that. Like, what?
It must have been creepy as hell to the poor fucking people.
Oh, fucking right with it.
By
Jesus
today's
Christ.
standards now, knowing what we know now, what he was doing then. Beg your fucking pardon? Speak up, I can't hear you.
What?
You know, serial killers are not really existent in today's world due to the invention of something called CCTV. They cannot get away. In saying that,
Ring doorbell fucked it all up for them.
In saying that though, they say that at any point in the US, there's something like 60 active serial killers a year.
What?
Yeah, and they reckon most of them are truck drivers, statistically, because they can drive the length and breadth of the country and go and do what they want to do wherever they want to do and dump the bodies wherever.
And there's vast land in America, isn't there? Like,
I want to say it's either Seattle or Washington, or I'm completely off the game here, but they found something that they think is a serial killer. We will go back to the movie in a minute. There's about 10 or 15 people they found in a very small area. And I don't think it's Washington as in the capital, the other Washington near Seattle, I think.
Oh, what's it called? It's where Cobain's from. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Seattle somewhere. And I want to say it's there, but again, I could be completely wrong. I read a lot of stuff like this, and they found a lot to insinuate that there is a active serial killer that is using this place as a dumping ground. But yeah, they got a long way to go to work on that. But really, serial killers aren't something that you can really get away with now. But so what would they do? Would they take these people and would they legalize these guys, deputize them, and make them repo men? Because they can legally kill.
Yeah, that's a good
they
question.
Can legally kill, and then they can take the organs, and all they have to do is make sure that organ is chopped off.
What were Genco doing with the organs once they had them back?
Burn them, probably.
Was it just a case of it was just principle?
Oh yeah, it was business. That's mine. I want it back.
I was like, surely what do you need with that?
Well, that's the thing. If you, in the other one with Jude Law, all the parts have barcodes on.
Oh. So
once they've harvested them, they barcode them and they go back in the system. And if they're usable, I think they reuse them. I think they like regenerate them or do whatever they need to do with them, wash them out and put them back in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Recycle, reuse, waste not.
I was thinking to myself, what do they need them for? Because clearly they ain't reusing them again. I tell you what, just to go back to what we were talking about earlier with the scars on the siblings, the one touch I absolutely loved, and this just made me think, is she actually genuinely alive at this point? Was Paris Hilton had the T-bone scar going here, and that they only do that in an autopsy? And I was like, oh my God, is she actually alive at this point? Like, how, like, is she being brought back so many times with all these new organs? I was like, oh my God, that's so fascinating.
That's the thing, because the Zydrate song happens as the grave robber's trying to explain to Shilu the fact that, this is the drug, this is what everybody wants. And then Amber obviously comes around the corner and she's addicted to this type of Zydrate and the other, but this one, she likes this one because it's different. It gives her a different feel. So she gets this one off the grave robber, and then she passes out, doesn't she, towards the end of the song, and the security guards are holding her. They find her and they take her back. Now I'm wondering, is the next time you see her after that, does she have the scars, or is there another scene in between? I can't remember.
I just remember seeing it because she has the mark down here that goes down here. And when they crack you open, that's where they They do it.
And her face at that point is really messed up. She's
Fucked
got all the
up.
scars and the burn. Well, not burns, but she's obviously had some sort of chemical peel thing happen and it's gone wrong. And she starts to look weird. And then when she goes and does her number or tries to take Blind Mag's kind of like have
Yeah.
her debut as the one that's taken over, I love this bit where her entire face just peels off and it starts hanging by the and I'm like, do you know what? For who she is and how she's based her entire career on looks, she did not give a flying fuck in this film about
No.
how she looked. And I thought
That's
that's why I give her a lot of props for being in this movie. I don't think she deserved the worst actress. Yeah, she wasn't the best, but neither was a lot of people
hey.
in this film.
If we're gonna be dishing out awards for bad acting, let's give one to Bill Moseley. I'm sorry, I love the man. I love the man. Love him. But for some reason, it just felt so not him. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe because I'm so used to the Bill Moseley I know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like he did Chop Top. Like it wasn't even that. If he did it as Chop Top, I think I would have been a bit more forgiven. But it wasn't even
Yeah.
that level.
Yeah, I think the problem is were people expecting that level of nuts from him? And obviously, I don't know the characters from the stage show and their breakdown for what
Yeah.
they're supposed to be there to see if he's translating it right here.
Uh,
I imagine so, but if you'd have told me, if you'd have sat down and said to me, "Oh, there's a movie with a kid from Spy Kids, Chop Top, Giles from Buffy, Paris Hilton, Sarah Brightman, and the guy from Goodfellas," I'll be like, "Nah, fuck off."
nah,
How?
no,
What? Eh?
no,
No.
that doesn't work. That does not work. I genuinely didn't know Sarah Brightman was in it until it came on. I was like, shit. Actually, I didn't know. What do you call him, Roddy? I didn't know that was Paul Sereno either. I was like, oh, shit, yeah. But I knew he could sing. Like again, I saw him in Romeo and Juliet, and he had some fucking pipes on him. But I didn't realize it was to the extent of what you said.
Yeah.
That was impressive. I don't know very much about the guy who played the other brother, Parvy.
He was in a
Um,
band. He was a lead singer of a band that was very popular on the indie scene at the time. And
right.
he became friends with Terence and Darren, who did all the score writing and originally wrote it. But I did see something quickly today in a short video because there isn't much out there for behind the scenes, but I found a very small 5-minute clip that when they were writing the Zydrate song that everybody knows, they actually had uh, one of the guitarists. Now you'll have to forgive me because there's been many guitarists in this band. But the main guitarist from Ozzy Osbourne was the guy who played the guitar on this, and then there was another guy who came in and played
Zach.
guitar. It started with a B, and it's a nickname, and I've gone blank on it, and I thought I wrote it down, but I haven't. But yeah, he did a lot of parts on this as well. So they had like provenance, and everybody knows that song, the response and recall song, the constantly feeding you back the information, because when you listen to the words in all these songs, the way that they are structured, there is so much repeat to put the point across. So he'll say something, she'll repeat it, and then he'll confirm it. And
Yeah.
that's this way, the whole structure of all the songs are pretty much like that at some point. It got on my nerves after a while, I will say. Like,
I get
so
what you mean.
we know you don't have to keep repeating it. We get it, but then I don't know whether that is the difference between 2008 and a 2025 audience. You're fed
Yeah.
a short space of time, so you get things quicker.
So I know who Harvey is, the guy who played him.
Right.
I've literally just had a memory unlocked. I used to be a fan of this band, Skinny Puppy. He's the lead singer of Skinny Puppy. Also KMFDM. He was being in that too. Jesus Christ. I know exactly who he is. I've just seen a picture of him back in the day and I'm like, shit, yeah, I remember you. Yes. Oh, that's just took me back many years. This film took me back many years. The minute Shiloh come on and the way she was dressed, I was like, oh Christ, oh my God.
Victorian ghost child.
Oh my God, the way her costuming in this was very much of the 2008 era.
The emo fishnet.
We were just coming out, we're coming out of new metal. We're going into God knows what next. Emo's starting to come around the corner.
I
Yeah,
can
it's
hear
happening.
MCR now.
Mm, mhm. It's starting to happen. I'm not okay.
When I was a young
Yeah.
boy, my father.
Shut up, I may
You
not
need
love
it,
that
don't you?
song.
In the black parade. Emo hair. Um, I am well aware Gerard Way did not have the emo hair when he recorded that song, so don't come for me. I've seen the video, I know it, but every emo kid had that, every boy.
Oh yeah. Do you know what I find hilarious now on TikTok? You've got the girls who are if you type in emo 2000s, they are the girls that are appearing, the MySpace girls.
Yeah.
They're all now going to TikTok being like, look, I was the MySpace girl, the image that you all saw, that's me. Am I still emo? You fucking not. And all these elder emos who are in their 20s, shut up. No, stop. Just stop. Behave.
Emo wasn't even a thing that registered in my growing up because I was pre-emo. So I was either muso or goth.
What?
A muso or a goth
What the
because
fuck is a muso?
studied music at college. So you had your musos. And that was the gang. You either dress like a grunge muso, so everybody looked like Kurt Cobain, or you look like a goth. That was the two categories I had at my college.
My God. I
That
mean,
was yeah.
okay. I went to college and did music. I also did drama
Grebo.
too.
Grebo was another term people
It
used to
wasn't a
use.
term up here. No.
Yeah,
I know it, but it was
yeah.
never a term used up here. Um, the one that I sweaty, that was one that used to get called around a lot. It's awful. But I've rocked this look since I was 15 years old, so goth
I was
kid,
well known for
goth kid
going
full
into.
full.
I used to go in, right. This was something I used to do because I hated the fashion at the time. I used to go into charity shops, find the most obnoxious shirt that was a man's shirt, like the ugliest shirt I could find. Go pay £3 for it, and I'd wear the death out of it. And
I
I'd wear
see it.
corduroy trousers sometimes.
Yo, my good God, yes, big baggy corduroy
Yeah,
trousers.
I'd
I
have the
had,
little skater. They'd be fucked to the bottoms because they'd be skater wear. I'd wear all the little
yeah.
chain, make your own necklaces with the beads on. I had the hair clips. I think I've said this before with Days of the Week on. I even went as far as wearing a pinafore dress over a jumper for a long period of time with bother boots on. And
I started listening to at 14, 15 years old, I was given a tape of music education. And it was just a lot of Metallica, Megadeth.
Mhm.
And my friend had put Slipknot on the end of it. And I was like, what the fuck? What is this? Don't put screamy music on. Not when there's the classics. Um, anyway, Slipknot's one of my favorite bands of all time. But anyways, but in my first year of college, and I'm only going to admit this because the person who I run this whole thing with will know this because we went to college together. I was dressed really smart. I used to have this brown like feeler hoodie, but I would always have like kind of smartish clothes on. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, this is just not me. I don't like this. And I went back to wearing baggy because I always used to wear baggy jeans. Always. I always remember my first pair because they had a red stripe going down the seam down the side. And then, the Limp Bizkit, I was obsessed with Limp Bizkit. I used to have just this pull-on Limp Bizkit hoodie, never came off. Never came off. And then I just started to get into more uber goth. I used to go to Whitby Goth Festival and yeah, I never changed really. I look the fucking same. How I am right now is how I used to look back then.
I was honestly just the person that would pick the far opposite end of the scale to everybody else. So if everybody looked like that, I would go out of my way to not look anything like that. That was just what I did.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think I really had a specific
And
category.
yet,
Like even now, when people
nah.
say goth, I'm like, I don't think I am. I'm alternative for sure, but
Oh,
I don't
fuck
know
yeah.
where I sit. I'm not a goth, as in I'm not a traditional goth. Obviously, the pale face, the makeup, all that sort of thing. I'm not a goth in
This.
that sense. Definitely alternative, but
Yeah.
I don't have a bracket where I sit, and I don't give a shit. I don't need to be labelled at what I am on me.
I'm nearly 42 years old. I'm not trying to like if I if I'm gonna, I'm not spending any more time trying to figure out where the fuck I fit into things. This is just what you get.
Yes.
I'm
Like,
getting
get
too
up in the
old for this.
morning and don't
Yeah,
die. You're welcome.
exactly. As long as I can make it to the end of the day without actually killing someone or myself because I am clumsy as fuck, we've won.
Yeah,
I've won. It's been an
100%.
all right day. Yeah. I never owned like tracky bottoms or anything like that. Never. It's only been I own a pair of jogging bottoms. Grey jogging bottoms. I got them in lockdown because I wanted some comfort dresses.
I cannot really empathize with the storyline of this movie because it's basically a guy who steals a woman from another guy, gets her
Yeah.
pregnant, gets married. She dies of a blood disease, so he cuts the baby out of the stomach because he's so scared the baby's going to die. Then he locks the baby away, afraid that she'll um, get ill, so he makes her sick. So he's got Munchausen's by proxy.
Yeah.
And he physically makes Shiloh sick so she doesn't leave the house.
Hmm.
He goes out, repossesses everybody's organs, and in the end it all comes out in a massive great crescendo of an opera at the end where blind Mag gouges her own eyes out because she wants to leave her contract. And so then older Rottie drops old Sarah Brightman down onto a railing and completely kills her at the end. And then like
I'm
he
glad you cleared
coughs and
that up.
dies. And then the three kids you don't really.
No, there was one scene with Roddy when he coughs into a tissue and he was meant to have blood all over it, but he wouldn't do it for some reason. He hated the idea that there would be blood on it, and he was like, "No, I don't like that," because that's typically what you see when someone's ill in the cough. It's like that's the movie thing of they're not very well. He didn't want to do it, so if you look, the tissue is just blank. There's nothing on it.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought
It's
it was a bit weird choice.
Yeah, the premise of this film is weird. Basically,
Yes, a fucking understatement.
I mean, but it's very rooted in your Jeremy Kyle business. You know, a bloke steals
Oh,
a woman off
yeah.
of another bloke and goes, they get married, they have a kid, and he pretends that kid's died to the
Yeah.
world.
There's there's just no DNA test done in this one.
Yeah, you are not the father. Because that is something that is a general consensus. When you go into Reddit, which I did, I went down a Reddit rabbit hole on this one because there isn't that much out there. And Reddit is a weird cesspool of, you'll find some conspiracy theories. And
Mm.
one of the biggest conspiracy theories on this is that Rottie was actually Shiloh's dad. And Nathan had taken Marnie while she, when she was pregnant with Rottie's baby, and technically Shiloh is supposed to be the fourth Rottie.
Mm.
But it kind of is a bit dispelled because when he's singing to her at the end, Rottie, when he's singing to Shiloh, he says to her, "If I was with your mum, you would have been mine." And it's kind of ambiguous to us, like they're not the word for words, but it's kind
No,
of like,
but it could be construed one way or the other. But he wants to give the company to her. He doesn't want the other three to inherit it. He
yeah.
wants it to go to her. I'm gonna I'm gonna bat on the side of it was his kid because Nathan was a horror, by the
Yeah,
way.
Nathan, and I will say, what you do see in this, and the clever thing that Anthony Head does do, is he adapts his voice to the side of the person he's singing. So I
Yes.
think he's incredibly, I think he's playing somebody who is possibly split personality, schizophrenia. I don't know the correct term for what he is supposed
Well,
to be in this.
I would agree with that because he plays two different people,
Yeah,
and not just like in here he plays fucking a multitude of people, but in his life he is dad and he is Repo, and they're two very different
and the
sides of the
voices,
coin.
yeah, so the voices he's using when he's singing about being a dad and being with Shiloh, his voice is very calm, it's quite melodic.
Hmm.
But you see that one where he goes through the fireplace and he's singing as dad, he goes through the fireplace and he goes down, wets his hair, looks in the mirror, and his voice just changes to this
Changes.
gruffy rock
Hmm.
kind of like belty kind of voice. And
Yeah.
then you go, oh yeah, okay, that's who he is now, because he's getting dressed and he's putting on his costume and he's feeling it and he's like, yep, this is my job, this is what I do. um And he doesn't look like he doesn't enjoy it. He really does look like he gets his
Yeah.
rocks off while he's doing it. So I do believe that there is a possibility that Nathan could have hoodwinked Marnie into marrying him because of
Hmm.
this personality disorder he had of some kind.
You,
And she
the
could
thing,
have been
oh
she
yeah.
could have been Rotty's. So
Oh,
Rotty could be the
absolutely.
good guy.
But
What I
this
mean?
is what to be honest, apart from the mega corporation,
Yeah.
was he that much of a dick to start with?
Well, he didn't stop his kids. That's the only thing. He let his kids, but then I feel
He,
like he wanted
I,
them to learn their own lesson, to like kill themselves. He's like, I hate all of you. You
just
disgust me.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. Because when he looks at Amber when she finally reveals her actual face to what it looks like, he looks heartbroken.
yeah,
Like this is like almost this wasn't meant to happen. You weren't meant to go down this path. However, I can't stop you. We'll just fix you up and get you out anyway again. So I think you
yeah.
might be right.
Yeah, well, that's one of the Reddit conspiracies on this film anyway, that she was Rotty's, and people have dispelled it, people have agreed it. It's one of these things that I think is going to be this forever turning circle on this one, because it does make it's a possibility. Like you can't completely rule it out in one way, because if you break it down, it's a man who's got mental health disorder, who has not only borderline personality BPD of some kind,
Yeah.
or some kind of like disorder with personality. I don't know. But you've got him, he's Munchausen by proxy in his own child. He's making her feel like she's sick. He's poisoning her to believe that she's sick so she doesn't leave him because he doesn't want to be on his own. So
Hey,
he's
you
keeping
know
her
what
ill.
happens with people like that? Look at Dee Dee Blanchett. All ends in tears.
It's the whole I mean, look at Gypsy. It's I know this we're comparing it to a real life situation here, but like Gypsy
Doesn't
Rose,
end well.
no, it does not. So there is a lot of very serious underlying
Yeah.
kind of story to this film, which kind of as a musical, it kind of doesn't dilute the issue, but you don't see it as easy because with
No.
dialogue, you can get your points across.
And then you've got a catchy beat behind it, and you lose the initial like the message that they're trying to actually put out there. There was one director
Hmm.
who was meant to make a little cameo appearance in this. Where the fuck he would appear, I don't know.
In the
Um,
audience, I reckon at the end, I could
do you
see.
think?
Yeah, I mean that's the only place I could really see him in.
Hmm. Yeah, you're probably right. It was Georgie Romero. Weird
Which,
choice.
yeah, I mean, good luck to you because clearly he was up for it. So,
Yeah,
but
you just
he just
couldn't.
couldn't make it work.
Conflict, scheduling conflicts. That was the only thing that was stopping him. I just, you're probably right. It probably would have been there's no other place. Or he just did it Alfred Hitchcock and just walked across the screen.
Yeah, or somewhere in the background in one of the scenes. But there is one bit I do love
Mm,
where which really does set up this like it sets up what a dick he is. When Bill Moseley walks into the backstage before Blind Mag's going out to do a big
mm-hmm.
thing, um, that he's offered a decaf coffee because he starts tipping my coffee. He's offered a decaf and he literally throws it at this assistant. And then someone else mentions something and then he stabs him to death. And like Mag has to come in and go, "What are you doing?" And to stop him. And it's just like, I don't know why, but that was very Otis kind of reminiscent
Yes.
to me, that bit, because it was just like, you fucked up my coffee order, so fuck you. And it's not you that's going to get it. I'm going to kill that person because that person's getting on my nerves instead. You know, it was just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a very Otis thing. And do you know what? My issue with him is probably because he's not playing Otis. And, you
It's
know,
seeing Bill as Bill. That's the thing as well, because a lot of people forget Bill is a character actor. That
yeah.
he is. You see him as Otis. The amount of women that fancy him as Otis, and then when they saw Bill as Bill, was so confused. They did not understand that that was the same person. They all thought the guy that played Otis looks like Otis, and it's like, no, Bill Moseley looks like Bill Moseley. And then obviously Chop Top.
You don't fancy Chop Top.
No
But
one
which which
each their own.
which
But not me.
which version of Otis though? Because it ain't fucking House of a Thousand Corpses
Oh no,
Otis.
it has to be Devil's Rejects Otis because no,
Yeah.
no. No,
Mm,
House of a
mm,
Thousand Notice. I have met Bill on a couple of occasions, and when we did meet him once, it was him and Sid we met together, and he was dressed up like House of a Thousand Corpses. And when he's done the
smell.
video for the page, when Bill did a video for the page, he dressed up with a bad wig.
It's
He's
just
wearing a
not
long
there.
Otis wig. It's terrible.
And the thing is, though, you don't get that Otis if you don't have that Otis.
Yeah, you needed
And
the development. You definitely
and
need.
there was an interview with him I was listening to recently where he was talking about the different choices, and now I can't remember why they changed it from more Charlie Manson Otis than maniacal, crazy Otis that you get in House of a Thousand
Budget,
Corpses.
probably.
Probably a makeup as well, because the makeup, oh my gosh, that wig, oh, it's so great. But even when he's doing the Ice Nine Kills videos, I'm still like, I still get an Otis thing about. I still like. I can recognize that's Bill Moseley.
Yeah, he
In
plays the
this,
police
it's
guy,
the
doesn't he? In the
yeah,
policeman, yeah.
but in this, you're like, who are you? Where is Bill? Because I can't see him at all. Maybe it's because he's singing. Well, attempting to sing.
Oh, talking in rhythm, shall we
Yeah,
say?
I do love the song between the siblings, though. I really do enjoy that one. That it's quite fun and it's quite like upbeat and
Oh, the one where he stabs the girl, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to take over the business. No, I'm going to take
yeah.
over." Yeah, that one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. And the weird brother's just like, look at my face, my beautiful face.
my beautiful face.
I've got Neymar on this movie.
There's not a
I'm
lot to be
literally
said,
grabbing at
guys.
straws.
No, I mean, there's not a lot to be said about it. It is what it is, and it has been done, and I know it holds a special place for a lot of people. And it did for a long time for me because I just loved the fact there was something weird out there, and the premise of it
Yeah,
is fantastic. But on watch with today's eyes, it just doesn't translate from a stage show to a movie as well as I thought I remembered it did. So that would be my big bugbear with it. And also I would recast Shiloh.
100%. 100. Maybe it's just from 2008 to 2005, stage shows that have been put onto screen have been done so much differently and so like the transit like the Hamilton one that's on Disney Plus, which is just the original cast. It's you have seen it.
No, I haven't seen Hamilton. Doesn't
Oh,
appeal to me.
I'm going to see it for my birthday in the theater. They're in for a treat
The
because
theatre.
I tell you what, mind, if I don't get kicked out for singing every song at the top of my lungs, I will be shocked to shit. It's either going to be that or I'm going to be an emotional wreck. But yeah, watching how they transition the whole onto screen is so much more smoother than how this one felt. Do you know what it felt like? Little bit of story, song, tiny bit of story, song. It just felt so rushed. And it was so honestly, and this is probably just because I'm looking at 2025 eyes, it was so messy, the scenery, that I didn't know where I was half the time. Unless we were on the floor. If we were the grave robber, I knew exactly where we were.
Yeah.
Because that was a clearer picture. But for some reason, it just felt messy. It felt like everything all crammed together, like we're going to get as much as we can in this one shot kind of thing.
Thing was,
Yeah.
they never got their money back on this film because they
Oh,
didn't
that's a shame.
trust. They didn't trust. The thing was, it was an 8.5 million budget, but it only
Mhm.
made 188,000 in the cinemas because they only released it in 7 cinemas for about a week run each, with
That's a bit silly.
little to no promotion on it at all. So it was an odd choice. I don't know what stopped that. I don't know what happened that it didn't get a proper, because considering it's Twisted Pictures, you would have thought it would have had a bigger.
Because it literally, we're coming off the back of, well, not coming off the back, but like the Saw franchise is like,
Taking over.
2004 Saw. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you've got Saw 2 coming out, and yeah, so the production of their movies is like shit hot, like people, and then this, it's a
It
thing.
just
It
didn't. It
happened.
just didn't
I've
get
seen it
whatever.
now. I've seen it twice.
Same.
You've seen it more than twice, though. Did you do it?
Yep.
Did you do the 666 degrees of separation of Jake?
Yes, you're damn right I did. Because I didn't do it last week, because obviously that would have been weird. But,
Just imagine if you did.
I know. I did have
How would you have done it?
Well, put it this way. Jimmy Simpson has played many characters with the surname Hayes. When I went on to IMDb, it was like, da-da-da Hayes, da-da-da Hayes, da-da, and all spoke exactly the same way as me. And I was like, I'm sure I could, this would have helped me absolutely no end put my own name into the 666 degrees through me being Jimmy, then me, then into the Adventures in Babysitting nonsense somehow. I would have, it's very weird, but it was like one of those ins that you get and you're like, I know where to go with this. I had a thing. But yeah, no, it would have been weird for them. I wouldn't have wanted to put them through that because they
would have just sat there going, what?
What's she on about? This is a horror podcast. You just don't get it, man. You just don't get it.
You don't get me. Don't get my podcast. That was the worst.
I'm saying nothing.
Worst impression I have ever done. Wow. Okay, let's do this. 666 degrees separation of Jake.
Okay. Sarah Brightman played Blind Mag. She was married famously to Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber for many, many years, in which time she starred in The Phantom of the Opera, among many West End Wendy shows, alongside Michael Crawford. Michael Crawford was best known as Frank Spencer in long-running 70s, 80s BBC TV show Some Mothers Do Have 'Em, but was also well known for playing P.T. Barnum in the TV movie Barnum.
Shit, he was.
P.T. Barnum has been played by actors such as Hugh Jackman, Beau Bridges, and Mr. Billy Zane. Billy played him in the 2017's Legends of Tomorrow episode Freak Show. Billy appears in many movies. His first appearance was in Back to the Future as Match alongside Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox went on to film the sequel Back to the Future Part 2 with none other than Elizabeth Shue playing Jennifer, and Elizabeth obviously played Chris in Adventures in Babysitting. Thank you.
That was impressive.
Thank you. Some mothers do have them. I don't
know how the fuck you managed to get Michael Crawford in there. Wow.
I didn't do that. Oh, Betsy.
Oh, honestly, it's still so funny. Like, I still genuinely laugh at it.
It's the roller skating scene around the thing.
There's that. There's some others do have them. Dad's Army. I still fucking belly laugh at Dad's Army. And what's the one in the shop? Are you being served? No, not Are You Being Served? That is funny, but is it that one? The one with the oh my god, it's got her in from. It's Pauline Fowler, but she's like really young.
Not Open All Hours because that's
It's Are You Being Served?
Yeah, It's Are You Being Served.
Yes, still hilarious. I still if it's on, I'll watch it. It's so funny. I'm impressed. I didn't know. I honestly couldn't. I forgot he played P.T. Barnum. Wow.
That was a connection. I'm sitting there thinking,
fucking
right, how do
Billy
I do this?
Zane.
Billy Zane was the one connection that got me from Michael Crawford to Back to the Future.
It's Zoolander. Oh, shut up, Billy Zane. It's a walk-off. It's a walk-off. Sorry. I love it. Well, next week.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we're going back to episodes that we did last year. We're not repeating them.
No.
But we're going back to the format that we did last year. Dan's going to tell you all about it right now.
We are going back to... We're going to do a double feature. It's been a while. I don't remember. I don't think we've done any in this season yet, have we? I don't remember. No. So what we are going to do is we are going to do The Fog. We're going to do John Carpenter.
Not The Mist.
That's the whole nother film. We're going to do The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog. And then we're going to do the Tom Welling reboot, remake, rewatch. Yeah. That. Don't come for us and say, oh, you shouldn't be watching that because that's shit. Well, we do because
we are.
You don't have to. If we
exactly.
You don't have to. So-
Exactly. Yeah, I got really confused when Dan said, let's do The Fog. And I was like, oh my God. So I've got to watch that film where the whole scene at the end. And she was like, no, it's a completely different film. I was like, right, I best write this down because I'm going to just end up saying The Mist. And then I'm going to ruin everything because it's The
Yeah.
Fog.
We're not doing Frank Darabont. We're doing John Carpenter.
We will do Frank Darabont at some point.
Oh, we
'Cause-
have done already, but
Yeah, we'll do
that's our
more.
link to connect to last week's episode because Tony Gardner worked on the Blob with Frank Darabont, making Tony our connection between that and the fact that we had Kira on last week. And go
all
ahead
comes
with
back.
what you need to do now.
It all comes back the Blob. It all comes back the Blob. We were saying this all last year. Weren't we? We've been
We were.
screaming this since last year, since we did the fucking episode. The Blob changed everything.
And it really did, because if it wasn't for the Blob, we wouldn't have had Kira on last week. So
Fucking just crazy. It's all crazy. Well, this has been Repo, the genetic opera. Next week is The Fog. We have something very exciting lined up for July, but we'll tell you all about that next week.
yes,
Because it's something a little bit fun, something a little bit different for us, something a little bit fun.
Yeah.
But that's a next week job, and this is the this week job. And this episode will go up on Monday, normal time this time. We just put it out a bit later so, people could get to watch it. Also, we recorded it late on Sunday night, so there's that as well. So yes, this goes up on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel at 8 o'clock in the morning. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the episode. You don't have to watch it, but it'll just notify you that it's available. I mean, you do have to if you watch it, but you know what I mean. You don't have to watch it when it comes out, but you'll be notified. The audio for this episode will be going up the same day. You can get that from anywhere you get your podcasts from. The links for Bleeding Marvelous, Monsters Up North, and Nerdy Up North are where, Dan? They're down there. Down there. You got no one to help you out this time.
no, feel very lonely now.
That was a moment.
Yeah.
They just joined in.
They've just joined in.
Yeah, it's just down there.
And hopefully, if we do remember, we will put a link to the Kickstarter as well.
The Kickstarter link will be in every description that we do from now until the end of it. If you didn't get a chance to watch last week's episode, we had Kira Gardner and Jimmy Simpson on to talk about their independent horror film Slay. Kickstarter for the movie to finish it off is up and running right now. Like I said, the link will be in the description and it'll give you all of the fun goodies. Kira's already let me know that there is more to be added, some really, really good ones to be added. Some they are really working their asses off on this one, guys. And if we can help out just a little bit, it will mean the absolute world. We need to see this film.
You can pledge as little as $1. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to sign up to the Kickstarter in the respect of that. You don't have to get a package. You literally forego one coffee a day for one in a, do you know what I mean? You can put a $5 on, which is what, £4.50, £4 to us.
Anything will help them to get this movie finished, because from what we talked to them about last week, we want to see it.
I
really want to see it.
Now.
I want to see it.
When you're being asked by the people who make it how we would like to see a trailer done, I want to make damn sure I get to see this trailer, because I want to know if I want to know if I know they listened. This isn't the issue. They genuinely took in everything we had to say.
Yeah,
but I want to see this film. I am so intrigued about how this is going to pan out, because I feel so invested, and it's been a weird week.
Oh, it's been so. It's been the oddest one, I think. In how long have we been doing this for now? 2
years, just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years. And I think the first time ever on Sunday, I couldn't talk to Dan. I just couldn't. Nothing was coming out of my mouth. Nothing that made sense.
Hence why they got that garbled TikTok off of me at the end, because I was just like, makeup was melting down my face at one point.
I said to Dan, says, I'll do a video. I'll do a video, let people know, because obviously we hadn't advertised anything for that week. And she was like, I'll do a video. I said, you do it, because there's just nothing coming out of this end at the moment.
And what came out of my mouth was incomprehensible babble anyway.
Brilliant.
So
It was brilliant. It just summed up what we've just been through. But we are going to be talking about this until the end of the Kickstarter on the 13th of July, and even beyond. We really want to see this movie get out there, and we would really love your support in doing so.
we genuinely cannot wish these two people any more luck with this. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, she's a director and he's Liam McPoyle. I'm not saying it. Off camera, when you guys weren't privy to the conversations, they were exactly the same people you saw on camera, and they were so passionate throughout absolutely every conversation we had.
I had to stop Jimmy at one point because I was like, he was talking about it, and I was like, I need to press record first. But this is it. This is just because he's so goddamn passionate about it that all he wanted to do was talk about his love for it, and it shines through. And I hope you guys saw that as well, and that you can help get on board with it. It's independent. It's made with love.
And there's no big studio behind it, so it's about time we started investing in seeing horror that the people want to see, not your rinse and repeat. Blumhouse. You know,
I want to see genuine care.
I want to see passion, and I want to see this come to something, not just for them, but because my curiosity and the fact that it's been in my dreams for the last week, and I just wanted to go away.
Just leave us alone. No, don't leave us. Don't leave us. Stay with us. But yeah, it's gonna be brought up, like I say, from now until the end, until that movie is available for us to watch. We are going to be shouting about it from the high fucking heavens. So be prepared. You might as well just donate, and we'll shut up about it. We'll shut up. We'll just
the more they get less and less. Reach the goal, the less chance you got of us talking about it. So
exactly. Well, for now, if there is nothing else left to say goodbye, Dan.
You compare me to a corpse. Bye.
Stay spooky, everyone. Bye.